in the dark forest, where shadows played among the ominous trees. An ancient castle shrouded in legends and secrets. Locals whispered that it was inhabited by vampires, creatures of the night, hungry for blood and unclean magic. No one dared to approach this place, but one day a mysterious woman appeared in the village, attracting attention with her incredible beauty and dark eyes. Her name was Albina, and she immediately won the hearts of the locals. She possessed the art of charm, but no one noticed that with each passing day there were fewer and fewer people in the village. The mysterious disappearances did not attract attention at first, but it soon became clear that something was wrong in the village. Only a few were able to resist Albina's charms. Among them was a young hunter named Adrian, who decided to solve the mystery and save his fellow citizens. He studied ancient texts and collected information about vampires, which were told by the elders of the village. One day, when the moon rose over the dark castle, Adrian decided to go there alone. He burst into the castle, feeling the shadows gathering around him. In the rooms of the castle, he discovered an intimidating atmosphere and encountered impure energy permeating the walls. In the depths of the castle, Adrian discovered a secret sanctuary of vampires. In their presence, he felt cold stares begin to weigh heavily on his neck. Albina, standing in the center of the room, greeted him with a grin, but there were ominous reflections in her eyes. The vampires cautiously approached Adrian, creating a ring of shadows around him. Albina confessed that their thirst for blood had become too strong, and that they had chosen this village for their creepy rituals. She invited Adrian to join them, promising eternal life and power in exchange for his strength and blood. But Adrian, despite the sweet promises, refused. He took out his bow and arrow weapon from under his cloak and began to fight the vampires. Every shot was aimed at the heart, and the dark forces tried to stop him. But he was determined in his quest to rid the village of this evil. The fight became more and more intense, and the castle was filled with screams, creaks, and sounds of death. But at the most critical moment, when it seemed that Adrian would be able to defeat the vampires, Albina took advantage of his momentary carelessness. She clung to his neck with her sharp fangs, filling his blood with her thirst. Darkness enveloped Adrian, and when he opened his eyes, he realized that he was now part of that cursed army of vampires. But something in his eyes indicated that there was still a spark of resistance smoldering inside him. And in this dark battle, he found a new goal: to end Albina and free his body from this curse. The night in the castle grew thicker, and the shadows hid the dark secrets of the past and the future. Adrian, feeling a new strength and thirst in himself that was not human, looked around his new homes. The castle, which had seemed hostile to him, now became his dark refuge. His vampire life was just beginning, and he felt that not all the cards were out. Albina, defeated but not broken, mysteriously disappeared into the shadows. Her cold eyes, which had lost their confidence for a moment, sparkled with a new vision. A plan was brewing inside her, revenge for the destruction of her sanctuary. Adrian was a hostage to his thirst, and she was going to use it to her advantage. The dark trees around the castle whispered their secrets, and an unknown threat hovered in the air. Adrian, feeling ambivalent in himself, tried to unravel the mysteries of his new identity. He found that his senses had become as sharp as a blade, and in the dark he could see like never before. But part of him was buried in the shadows, where his doubts and fear hid. The villagers who remained alive now felt the heavy gaze of their former protector on them. Adrian was known to them, but now his presence was something else that caused them an inner thrill. He tried to hide his new identity, but a part of him couldn't calm the dark inner fire. A mysterious wanderer appeared among the villagers, an old man who claimed to know a way to free Adrian from the vampire curse. He told about an ancient artifact capable of destroying darkness, and that Albina possesses this ancient magic. Adrian, feeling the flickering light of hope, decided to embark on a dangerous journey to find this artifact and free himself. Meanwhile, Albina, despite her defeat, continued to weave her intrigues. Her plans were not only to revive her vampire army, but also to take revenge on those who dared to stand in her way. She plunged the castle into a new wave of darkness, and her clumps were already moving towards the village, eclipsing the light of hope. At this time, strange events began to happen in the village. Shadows crept into the houses, and at night there were whispers, as if the souls of those who had disappeared into the darkness. Adrian, excited by these signs, realized that time was working against him. He had to solve the mysteries of the past and the future in order to save himself and the village from the eternal darkness that now lay in wait for them from the castle and beyond. Adrian set off on a journey, following the Elder to unknown places where, as legends said, it was possible to find an ancient artifact capable of breaking the vampire curse. His path lay through dark forests, dense swamps, and tangled paths that led him to get lost. The Elder warned him that the path would be dangerous, and the shadows in these places could gain their own consciousness. In the castle, surrounded by the darkness of night, Albina continued her black magic rituals. She gathered powers, manipulated the darkness to awaken ancient sinister forces. Her plan was complicated, and she sought not only to bring her army of vampires back to life, but also to absorb the village and all living creatures around to become the Lord of Darkness. The darkness grew in the village, and the shadows, subordinated to Albina's will, came to life. Residents felt that their days were riddled with fear and unknown danger. Rumors that Adrian had disappeared in search of salvation spread like lightning, and anxiety crept into the hearts of the remaining villagers. While Adrian overcame all the difficulties of his journey, encountering on his way not only darkness and danger, but also ancient mysteries. Dark forebodings awaited him in the very heart of evil. The castle in which he was born into a new life became not only a place of dark rituals, but also a link between him and Albina. Through dreams and visions, Adrian began to comprehend his new identity. He discovered that not only vampire blood had entered his veins, but also secret magic woven by darkness. It opened up new possibilities for him, but it also called into question his humanity. He understood that in order to defeat Albina, he would have to not only resist external threats, but also achieve harmony within himself. Meanwhile, in the castle, where shadows soared like flames and ancient spells sounded, Albina received a new vision. She saw Adrian, his doubts and inner struggles. This vision promised her not only revenge for the destruction of her plans, but also the use of his weaknesses for her dark purposes. Thus, the fates of Adrian and Albina became more and more complicated. On one side is a dark castle where sinister forces are maturing, and on the other side are dark forests where Adrian walked in the hope of finding answers and salvation. Everything was awaiting resolution, and only time could reveal the truth that is hidden in the dark depths of the past and is catching up in the future. Amid ancient forests, dark swamps, and rocky trails, Adrian continued his journey. Encounters with mysterious creatures and trials paved the way for him, but his determination grew with each passing stage. He found ancient records and magical objects that revealed to him the secrets of his past and bestowed wisdom to fight inner demons. In the castle, while Adrian was finding answers, Albina felt her dark plans begin to crumble. The darkness she bred became her prison, and even her powers could not hold the greatest darkness released. Her vampire army, which had risen from the graves, began to lose its strength. At sunset, When the last ray of light illuminated the dark expanses, Adrian returned to the village. His steps were confident, and there was a fire of determination in his eyes. Here, among his people, he felt that his true strength lay in the humanity he so passionately defended. When the residents saw him, they felt a surge of hope and faith. In the castle, Albina, who suffered defeat, found herself in exile. Her darkness, enveloping her like a flame, engulfed her, and she disappeared in black whirlwinds, leaving only traces of her presence. The castle, charming in its horror, was freed from the influence of darkness, and its walls ceased to melt into the darkness of the night. The village came to life again. Rallying together, the residents began to rebuild their homes and rebuild their lives. Adrian became a hero returned from the darkness, a man who overcame his vampire nature and gained strength in his humanity. The evening he returned was full of celebration and joy. Lights were beaming in every house, and music was playing in honor of the victory. Adrian, although he had changed, remained a part of his people. And now he carried not only the fight against evil, but also the experience that he could use to protect his native land. That's how this dark story ended, but a new hope flashed over every sunrise. Life went on, and a light was lit in the hearts of people, which drove away the darkness, reminding them that the light of humanity can sparkle in everyone's soul. Despite the darkest circumstances,